Your profile is what sells your work naturally for you. And when we're not in alignment with our profile, which is like our personality, it's the way that we want to show up. That's when content feels a lot harder than it needs to be. So let's get into profiles today because it is kind of blowing my mind the more I dig into it. And I honestly just have to share it. So most people are sitting here thinking, okay, I need to be more consistent. I need to be better at strategy, or I need a different strategy. I need to show up more. I need to blah, blah, blah. I need better hooks. We get so caught up in like what other people are doing with their content that we think that that is the way to success. And if I've learned nothing else from like observing and looking at what other people are doing, you can find success in like every color of the rainbow, really. There's no one right way. The only thing that matters is whether or not it's aligned to you and how you want to show up. I am a firm believer that your content, your success is inevitable, and not only inevitable, but easy. Like your creativity is going to flow. You're going to show up more consistently. It's not going to feel like pulling teeth when you find the way that really works for you. And I'm breaking down in this video how to use your profile lines to uncover how you want to show up. What are the ways that you would naturally just sell your work without trying so hard? That's what we're covering in this video. And if we haven't met, I am Rachel, and I am obsessed with human design and messaging. Honestly, just being yourself, growing your business, doing it in a way that feels good for you. And I work a lot with coaches and service providers because our work is selling ourselves. It's so different from a brick and mortar and a product. It's really you selling your soul, selling your art, selling your gifts in the world. And that really comes down to you showing up like you. It cannot be this bro marketing anymore. Like we're done with that. Like we're leaving that at the door. So let's get into the profile lines because it's a game changer when you implement this. And I would love for you to try it in your own business. Come back and to this video, like earmark it, save it so you can come back and share with me like how this worked for you. Did it feel more like you? Did people respond in a different way? Like that's the gold. That's the part that I really want you to take away from this video. So let's get into line ones. I love line ones. I tell them all the time that you give us the cliff notes. You know so much stuff. Like you know the data and the stats and the nitty-gritty information that the most of us don't really pay attention to. If we're being honest, you love a good stat. You love to share that. You are the cliff notes. We come to you for the cliff notes. So a lot of your content is going to revolve around the knowledge that you have. Are you sharing that knowledge? The misaligned one line doesn't believe that what they know is enough. She's kind of hiding, feeling like maybe her knowledge, her stats, the things that she's kind of gathered and learned about isn't enough. Someone does it better, whatever. But that's the misalignment. To be in alignment, you know way more than you're giving yourself credit for sharing that knowledge in your content. So say like you've done the research. Think about this, like a piece of content that is, I tested this with 12 clients. Here's exactly what worked and what didn't. It is breaking down the knowledge into a way that people go, I get it now. Like that totally makes sense. It's the Cliff Notes version. Your power is really sharing in what you already know and why it matters. In your content, talking about the stats, the data, break it down for us in a way that makes sense. I feel like these are the people that study law of attraction and mindset and all of the things, and they get super nitty gritty in understanding it. And then they go back out and break it down for us in a way that makes sense, or break down quantum physics in a way that makes sense for people. That's the one line. All right. Line twos, you are the quiet marketers. You I feel like most people tell line twos that they need to be louder, they need to be more consistent, they need to be like just louder, bolder, bigger, blah. And that is not true. The more that you try to be loud and bold and in people's faces, the more it's going to feel inauthentic to you, horrible. Like you're probably just not going to do it. You're going to be like, this, I want no part of it. I guess that means I can't have success. No, not true. Your success, though, comes from quiet marketing, meaning you're consistent in your own way. Most line twos that are super successful that I have come in or have come into my world have created really simple funnels that work for them. So that are selling essentially when they're offline. And that's what makes them the quiet marketer. They're setting things up in a way that work for them, whether they show up or not. So it's a simple funnel. It's a simple way that people can buy their things, do the work, all of it without them necessarily being loud and bold and audacious and shouting into the void 24/7. It's not going to feel good for you. So, something I want you to think about your content as a way that you can share your gift, the thing that you're really good at, but then it lives on long after you've posted it. So, it could be Instagram, but maybe the Instagram post leads to something, leads to getting them on your email list. And then the email list sells for you. Like, think that's how I want you to start thinking. Like, how can this one thing, can I leverage it to pull people through the whole system? Okay. That's the quiet marketer that you like don't even realize they're a multimillionaire and that their business is like popping off because it's all happening kind of behind the scenes. Line three is, I love you because you are the storyteller. You love to share the shit going on in your life. The unaligned third line, though, is someone that feels like they have to be super polished. It feels like everything has to be professional, buttoned up, and like perfect. You're kind of scared to share the failures, the things that didn't work. But ironically, that is what is incredibly magnetic about you. People freaking love you because you've had so much experience in life, doing life, being in life, the failures, the things that didn't go well to the things that did go well, and sharing those stories. So as soon as you start to think like, oh, this should be cleaner. Oh, I shouldn't share this, like that should word is clue number one. But think about like, I want to share the story because it's funny, or I want to share this because it relates to the work or it doesn't. Like it doesn't even have to relate to your work. You get to show up and just show us how to do life. Have a little fun while we're doing it, not take life so seriously. I feel like line threes are kind of the goofy ones, the ones that are just out here living life, screwing up, making messes in the clay. I often say that line threes like to get their hands in the clay, really do life, form life. You can't tell a line three what to do because they have to figure it out for themselves. So just trust those stories. That messiness of life is going to be what people go, like, I need you in my life. I need you in your stories and the way that you be in my life. Okay. It's not about perfection. It's really not. The line fours, you're the connectors, the heart centered, cannot stress enough that it's not about networking in the traditional sense. It's networking in a more heart-led way, meaning you're connecting with people on a much deeper level. Fourth lines don't like surface level stuff. They really want to go deep with someone. So when you're out in life, connect with people, connect with different types of people until you find the ones that you're like, you are my people. That's where a lot of your influence will come from. I liken it to like I could go, I'm a fourth line. So I could go to a chamber of commerce meeting and can really connect with people, but it's probably not my people. Like they don't probably share the same ideas around business and values and beliefs versus going to more of a networking event that's in the spiritual realm. Those are my people. That's where I'm going to connect with people that kind of share the same values around business and showing up and content and strategy and all the things. Connecting with those people is like, there's nothing to describe it. You have to do it. You just have to get in the room with people. I know for me that things stall out and become a lot harder when I'm not connecting with people outside of my little office here, right? Like I need to get in the room. I could even do it better than I am now. Like I really do need to be in the room. And being in the room, conferences, all of those things, like that is a huge investment in your business for anyone. But for fourth lines, it's critical. It's really critical to get in the room with those people. Okay, let's see. When you're not in alignment as a fourth line, that's when you are hiding away. You're not connecting with people. You're in your little office. It's so different than like, yes, you can go to online events, but really it's about being in someone's space, in their aura, so you can connect. Online, connecting, it's so much harder to connect online and especially to a cold audience. Your content should speak to the people that you want, like you've met in that room, talking to them. Like if you were sitting across from those people that you were in their aura, talking to them, that's how you're going to share. Okay. All right, the line fives, you sell through solutions. But when you're out of alignment, it actually feels like you're either over promising or kind of diluting things. You're either over promising or under delivering. Your solutions are why people come to you. You see what the problem is and you have the solution. Talking about that, being really bold, clean, direct, like, guys, this is what you're struggling with. This is what you've missed. Here's the solution to it. This is the root cause. Here's the solution. Like, let's do it. It's clear, it's direct. There's not a lot of fluff at all. Like if you feel like you have to prove, right? That's where it gets a little sticky, where you're not in alignment. It is truly, this is a solution, done. The more confident you are, the more audacious and bold you are in your solution, the better it is going to sell for you. The solution is what builds trust for people, but it's really you sharing unapologetically, like this is the solution. Okay. Line sixes, love you, line sixes. So you sell actually through embodiment, and anything that is not in alignment with you is going to feel so like you can't make yourself do it. You can't. It feels like performing. You know it immediately. Even if other people feel like, because I'm a 4/6. So I feel like most people would say you're very authentic. I can feel when I'm not, when I am trying to perform, when I'm going, okay, how can I make this sell? Or how can I communicate this in the right way? Versus when I'm just showing up and talking about what I want to talk about. Whatever piece is coming out of me, there's this, I just have to share it while it's happening. So often, like I've had people tell me, just write the idea down on a note when, if you can't like go out and do it. But oftentimes I found that when I try to go back, like the energy is gone. Right? This is why line sixes probably don't batch, really have a hard time following formulas, like doing it right. All of that is going to feel really off and not the way that you want to do your marketing. For the line six, it is figuring out how do you want to show up, the values of your brand, the beliefs that you hold in your brand, and showing up that way, being your most authentic self, trusting that if like trust that feeling when you're not. It is a signal that there's a way that you could do this better or that you're thinking about this differently. This is something I've been playing with, that I love to push my edge. I love to put myself outside of my comfort zone and try different things. And it can feel like misalignment when you're going out of your comfort zone and doing something different because you've never done it before. There's an edge there. The difference is it feels like you're performing when it's out of alignment versus when you're pushing your edge. It feels uncomfortable, but it feels like you. It is such a subtle difference. And when you really start to bring awareness to it, that's when you'll notice it. You'll notice that you're like, I just don't want to do that. Like, I think of a way that feels really performative and I don't like is B-rolls. I keep trying them and they just feel, I don't know, maybe someday. But right now it just feels like I'm trying to do something instead of being a creative outlet. You know that when you're in alignment, but you're pushing your edge, when it is a creative thing for you, when it feels like you're being creative and bringing some aspect of yourself out into the world. And I am honestly a firm believer that content becomes so much easier. Your creativity skyrockets when you are in alignment with your energy versus trying to force a strategy that is not you, that is feels performative. Your creativity is going to tank and it's going to feel even harder to show up and be consistent. You can show up and be consistent in the rhythm that you want, right? And in the way that's going to work for you when you're in alignment, when you're like not trying to pretend you're someone that you're not, or trying to do a strategy just doesn't work with your energy. That's why I'm doing this video, because I want you to understand how these lines work and how you can use them in your strategy, in the way that you sell your work. So, caveat. Okay, I wanted to give a couple examples of combining the two numbers together, right? Because your profile has two numbers, and give you an idea of how these kind of work together. So a 4-6, I'm just going to talk about the 4-6 because I'm a 4-6. I feel like as a sixth line, I talk about what I embody. The 4-6s don't need a big audience to make money. You don't. You're not meant to necessarily have this huge platform. Not saying you can't, you can, but don't think that you have to have a large platform before you can have the success that you want. You are about connecting, getting in the room, being with the people, being yourself as much as possible, letting that connection happen. So content looks like speaking directly to your people, sharing your perspective in your life, letting them see how you think. I am really diving into how I think in some of my more voice channels. So here for one, but then a Telegram space that I have over on Instagram, sharing more talking head reels and just, what do they call it? The yapping videos, doing more yapping videos, things like that, where I can just share how I think about things, what I believe, how I work through different challenges, things like that. Okay. That's how you're bringing things together. The 3-5, if you're a 3-5, you figure things out by living them. So the 3 line, getting your hands in the clay, and then that 5th line goes, okay, here's the problem, here's the solution. I've worked out all the garbage. I've failed and succeeded, and here's what people are missing. Here's the solution. It's very like, get your hands in the clay, offer the solution. Now, this can be like your entire life. You got the hands in the clay, now you get this big solution. Or it could be something really simple, like you jumped into Claude right away and knew exactly how to work through Claude and all the mistakes that people make. And now you're like, cool, here's a solution to working with Claude. That's the 3-5. So talking about with your marketing, talking about the things that you did, you went in, made the mistakes, and now you're sharing the solution that works. This is the natural connector, right? There is no content grind for the 2-4. Like, I want you to really let go of being consistent the way that everyone tells you to be consistent. When you let it go, when you allow your natural gifts to come through, you're connecting with your people, content will pour out of you and it won't be hard. Okay. And you'll actually be able to show up more consistently. But you have to first let go of, oh, I have to be consistent. That's like putting the cart before the horse. We need to first tap into our creativity, first tap into who we are and how we want to show up, allowing our connection to the divine, allowing our own creative juices to flow first, and then going, okay, now I can go out and create content. We can't just force it. So with the 2-4, your content looks like being yourself, number one. So what does that mean? How do you like to show up? How do you feel the most natural, but kind of pushing that edge a little bit too, the uncomfortability of it, sharing what comes naturally to you. And this one, I feel like it can be kind of hard for the 2-4 because they don't necessarily know that this is what comes naturally. Even like making a reel or talking about something that you're like, this is like the easiest thing you could ever do, blah, blah, blah. And see how people react, because more than likely they don't find it that easy and they're like flabbergasted that you do, and they want to learn from you. So going into your networking groups, getting in the room, talking about like what you find really easy and how it helps people, that is what is going to bring out that creativity, bring out and sell your work without you having to show up, quote unquote, consistently. The 1-3. So the 1 is investigating, learning all the things, gathering the data, really understanding the topic. Then that real life testing comes in, and that third line goes, cool. Like, I've learned this. Then I tried it, and here's what actually happened. So you're like deep diving, say, into human design. Like, I'm going in, learning all the things that I can. I get certified. I do all the things. Then I start implementing it, and I try it, and I do this, and then I try this. And here's what I freaking learned in that whole process and what matters to you. That is the 1-3 and how they're showing up in their content, sharing their wisdom, sharing their knowledge. So that is the profile lines and how we can utilize them a little bit more in creating content that feels more natural, that feels like it's not pulling teeth and it's so freaking hard. I hear you. I totally get it. And something I want to leave you with, that if you want to learn more about your own design and how to implement it into your messaging, I have the Authentic Messaging Codex down below, where it's a PDF and a complete custom report on how your human design works and how to use those different aspects in your messaging. It is like $47. So it's super cheap. Grab it and use it in your business, because it's going to change how you think about strategy. It's going to change how you think about marketing. It's going to change how you think about showing up. It really gets to be how you want to do it, how you want to show up, what makes you feel lit up and excited to share. And because that's why people buy from you. They buy from you because of who you are, because of how you show up, because of your authentic expression, your authenticity. So check that out below, and I'll see you in the next video.
Your voice is the portal, not the plan, not the template.